right along the back side of this ridge. That's 40, 45. Vitals are blocked.
Hey guys, thanks a lot for watching the episode of Grit last week. We had a great time out in Wisconsin, and Jake was finally able to get it done after a couple years battling out there. Now, I'll start by saying we do not have this area figured out by any means. It's a challenging place to hunt because of the terrain, but this gives the bucks a chance to grow, so it's a really cool area to spend some time in the fall. In this hunt recap, we're going to share some of the observations we made during the hunt last year, and we'll run through how Jake was eventually able to get it done on a good buck. The main points we'll cover are hill country rut funnels and how bucks appear to be using thermals during the seeking phase of the rut. To start, let's take a look at the hunt D-Rock and I had down in the river bottom, because this is a good example of a funnel. When we were e-scouting, we liked this spot because there was a single draw that broke up this long cliff. This acts as a natural funnel for deer movement, and during the seeking phase of the rut, we figured bucks would be checking this area for does. When we got boots on the ground, the sign supported this theory. There were scrapes, rubs, and beds all concentrated at the bottom of this draw. When we hunted it, we had 5 small bucks dump down through this draw and check the scrapes in the bottom. They then moved on to the thick bedding area, likely checking for does. Turns out this area is a little more pressured than we expected, so we didn't have an encounter with a mature buck, but it was still nice to validate that this terrain feature does create a funnel. Now let's move on to Jake's hunt. He spent a few days hunting this area and had multiple encounters with does and bucks and saw a good amount of chasing activity. As you can see here, this is a big ridge system with a creek bottom surrounding it. There were red oaks dropping on top that deer were feeding on, and the bucks appeared to be checking this area using thermals. Real quick, let's review how thermals work in this scenario. In the morning, as the sun rises in the east, it heats up this side of the ridge. As the sun gets higher in the sky, it heats up more of the surrounding air, causing more thermal rise from the creek bottom. Late morning, this gives bucks the opportunity to really efficiently check this entire area. And that's exactly what happened on Jake's hunt. They went in early in the morning with the wind blowing like this. They had no action until a strong thermal pulse started around 11 o'clock. As soon as those thermals started pulling up, the buck Jake shot came up from the bottom, following the thermals, and this is when Jake got his opportunity. So let's summarize this episode real quick. First, we observed consistent rut funnels that are created by steep topography. The steeper the terrain, the higher the concentration of movement. During the rut, these spots are crucial for buck encounters. Next, bucks in hilly terrain are using thermals during the seeking phase of the rut because it allows them to more efficiently search for does. In the evening, they drop down with the thermals, and in the morning, they come up with them. When the thermals start to move is your best opportunity to have a good encounter because it forces the deer to shift. So that sums it up for the 4th hunt recap. Thanks again for checking out the videos. We really appreciate it. Next up on Grit is part 2 of this Wisconsin hunt, where D-Rock and I run into the biggest buck we've ever seen in person. Have a great weekend, and we will see you next Friday for episode 5.